Is it time to start talking about a problem with the Red Sox pitching staff? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. The Red Sox simply could not get it done against Baltimore this week, dropping 2 out of 3 games to the Baltimore Orioles in Camden Yards, officially putting them squarely back at 500 on the season at 28-28, which is still good for third place in the division, but now you're 9.5 games out of first place. For those of you who even care about first place at this point, and you're slowly losing ground a bit in the wild card race. Now 2.5 games out of that final wild card spot, and this series, in my opinion, was capped off, highlighted by a lack of starting pitching from the Boston Red Sox, which to me is starting to become a very deadly trend. So what we are going to do in today's video is break this series down and talk about the pitching currently going on with the Boston Red Sox, plus how it's going to affect the 2024 season. But before we get into that, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Don't forget, these episodes are also always available in podcast form, whether you want to listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can get that episode link in the description down below, or by heading over to your favorite app and looking up Red Sea Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Obviously, we have to start by talking about the starting pitching in this series because, well, that's the entire purpose of this video. Cooper Criswell got the ball in game 1 and kind of got absolutely rocked. 4 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, walked 1 and struck out 2. Easily Criswell's worst outing of the 2024 season so far. The month-to-month difference in Criswell's effectiveness is a bit scary right now. He went from a 1.65 ERA in April in 4 games to a 5.64 ERA in May. That is a jump of 4 earned runs. Certainly not a great sign, and I don't expect Cooper Criswell to come in for the rest of the year and throw a 1.64 ERA, but it has to be better than closing in on a 6 ERA. That is just flat out not going to get the job done anywhere near this Red Sox rotation. However, he's certainly not alone in seeing this regression. Brayan Bello probably had the best start of any starter in this series. It still wasn't fantastic. He still was able to give you 5 innings after allowing 3 runs in the first while walking 2 and striking out 7. I think what we are seeing from Bello, like we talked about before, is a second-year pitcher having to continue to make adjustments. The positive news on Bello is that he has been able to make them game to game, right? He's come in, something's been off, something hasn't been working, he's been able to figure it out and settle in. I think the next step here in Bello's progression is him being able to make those adjustments before damage gets done. It would be really nice if you were able to make those game-to-game adjustments before putting up 3 on the board or something like that. Once he gets to that point, I think we're going to see Bello settle in a little bit, but again, what we're seeing from Bello is the struggles of a second-year pitcher with teams who now have a full book on what he can do. Overall, again, looking at the month-to-month comparison, he's seen a jump as well. He went from a 3.04 ERA in April in 5 starts to a 5.66 ERA in May in 4 starts. Again, that's a jump of 2.5 earned runs per month. That's not exactly fantastic. Unfortunately, Cutter Crawford appears to be in the exact same boat that Brayan Bello is. He still went 6 innings, but he allowed 5 earned runs on 4 hits. And the reason he allowed 5 earned runs is because he walked 2 and hit 2 batters as well while striking out 5. Like Bello, Cutter is in his second full year at the big league level. For him, it's about being able to make those adjustments before damage gets done. Like we talked about with Bello, they're basically in the same boat, and it's a big reason why this rotation is where it is right now. The other unfortunate thing for Cutter is that he's kind of become the poster child for the Red Sox starting pitching regression. He went from a 1.35 ERA in 6 starts in April to a 5.24 ERA in 6 starts in May. Overall, you look at this rotation outside of Tanner Houck, we're starting to see the starting rotation that Red Sox feared it was going to look like at the beginning of the season. They went from a 2 even ERA in 30 starts in April to a 4.36 ERA in 26 games in May. Again, an increase in starter ERA of almost 3 runs. That is obviously, I think at this point, a clear problem. The question question is, what is the solution to that problem? Well, it's a solution we've talked about a couple of times already on this channel, and we've already talked about it in this exact video. It's about adjustments. The problem when you look at this rotation isn't the talent. The Red Sox have a lot of talented pitchers in this starting rotation. It's the lack of experience. These guys have never really played a full year as a starting pitcher. At least 2 out of the 3 guys we talked about in this video have. And Brian Bayo, who's the more experienced pitcher, if you will, has had a single year of experience. These guys are going in here and they're trying to figure out how to make adjustments to teams finally adjusting to them. That's not something they've had to deal with a ton over the past, especially a guy like Cooper Criswell, who's never been a starter in Major League Baseball. Cutter Crawford, kind of in a similar boat where he's been a bit of a hybrid pitcher up until this point. This is new territory for all of these guys, and it comes back to that inexperience. When 4 out of the 5 year starters have had 1 or no years of experience as a starting pitcher, this is the type of stuff you are going to see. You're going to see them drop and come up and drop and come up in terms of statistics because they're making those adjustments and getting themselves fully accustomed to Major League Baseball still. It's a major problem with this Red Sox team is that they're just not experienced enough to stay consistent. Now, in terms of what you do to fix that, well, you've got to come out here and clearly the strategy that the Red Sox came into the year with is getting figured out a bit. Teams are realizing ways to beat you in your strategy. You got to come up with a new one. Andrew Bailey and this pitching staff in general have to sit down and figure out what's going to happen from here on out. And to be honest with you, yeah, I am a bit nervous about this rotation. Again, not because it's not talented, but because it's inexperienced. I don't know what it's going to look like for the rest of the year, and I'm not asking them to come back to a 2 ERA. I think that's unrealistic at this point, but if they could bring it down closer to under 4, like a 3.9 or a 3.8, you're going to put your team in a much better position to win. My fear is that we're going to be seeing this sort of cyclical statistics over the course of 2024, and you're going to end up in the exact same place you've been in for the last 2 years, which is, yeah, they show signs of being great, but they just can't put it together for a long enough stretch to actually do something with it. So yeah, I do think right now the Red Sox have a bit of a pitching problem. I just don't know if the solution is feasible over the course of 162. The bullpen, however, continues to be a pretty solid constant for the Boston Red Sox. In this series, they did allow a couple of earned runs, mostly from their white flag relievers in Brad Kelly and Chase Anderson, so I'm not too concerned about it. I will say Brendan Bernardino might be the best reliever in Major League Baseball. As a reliever right now, he is the 4th highest WAR, B-WAR on the Boston Red Sox. He's also rocking a 0.78 ERA with a 538 ERA plus. That is 438% better than the average pitcher in baseball right now. Overall, the bullpen in general has been better this month than it has been last month. We say this a lot on this channel, but the bullpen certainly isn't the reason the Red Sox have had a dull May. The offense continued their struggles in this series. They did have a good game, and there were some solid performances, though. Rob Refsnyder, who is back to playing every day with Tyler O'Neill hitting the IL. That's the injury that happened. Tyler O'Neill has been placed on the 10-day IL with knee inflammation. Honestly, obviously it sucks when anyone gets injured on the Red Sox, but Tyler O'Neill has clearly been battling through it in the entire month of May. He has not been hitting well at all. Getting him off of his feet, getting him fully healthy, giving him, a week or so off might be the best thing for him and might be the best thing for the Red Sox in the long run. So while it sucks to lose him to injury, I'm not super concerned about it just yet. I actually think it might be a good thing. As for Rob Refsnyder, he continues to put together really good at-bats. He had 5 hits in this series, including a home run, a double for 2 RBIs. I love Rob. He doesn't strike out a ton. He's putting the ball in play a bunch, and it's leading to a ton of production. I'm totally okay with him being in the everyday lineup for now. In all honesty, hit him third every day. It doesn't matter if he's legitimately producing actual home runs or doubles or whatever. If he's putting together good at-bats, it's going to give other guys at the top of that lineup more pitches to hit and more of a book on a pitcher before they get up there. And I think that could be an overall positive for this Red Sox team. Rafi had a hit in 2 out of the 3 of these games with a 4-for-5 performance in the second game that included his first triple of the year with 2 RBIs. Say what you want about the Red Sox offense right now, Rafi's been absolutely killing it lately. Right now, he's tied for his career best OPS at .916. Wilyer Abreu continues his push to be a true Rookie of the Year candidate. He had another home run in this series, which puts him at 6 on the year, a hit in both games he played in, and he continues to make a ton of great catches in the outfield as well. Just an all-around super fun player to watch, and credit where credit is due, David Hamilton has been great lately at the plate. He had a hit in all 3 games of this series. He has been able to totally revive his season, with his statistics now sitting at a .265 average with a .337 on base percentage and a .410 slug. He's become an above average hitter for the Sox with a .109 OPS plus. Really impressive stuff lately from David Hamilton for a guy who I think a lot of us just assumed was totally done with being any impact type player at the major league level. This is great news for this Red Sox team, but overall, again, it was a tough series for the Boston Red Sox, and a big reason for that offensively was the same old song and dance we talk about basically every series, especially this month, and that was an inability to score with runners in scoring position. In this series, they went just 5 for 26 with runners in scoring position, which is good for a 92 average. Honestly, I'm not too sure that scoring a bunch of runs in this series would have done all that much, considering how much the pitching staff let up, but we say this all the time, it's still unfortunately their reality right now. If they want to be more than just a mediocre baseball team, they have to start beating good pitching. They can't just lay down and die every time they face someone with a sub-3 ERA, or you're going to end up exactly where you're at right now, which is a dead even, middle of the road, nothing baseball team. And a lot of that has to do with this offense inability to score runs with scoring position. Now, I don't really know if it's a philosophy thing that they need to start looking at their hitting coach, or if more realistically it's because you have such an influx, such a ever-changing lineup that guys are having times trying to settle in. Vaughn Grissom, Dom Smith, Garrett Cooper, Romy Gonzalez, Rob Refsnyder, David Hamilton, these are all guys who aren't playing every single day, who are getting cycled through this lineup, and it's got to be difficult for them to settle in and get going again, and I think that's a big reason why we're seeing the offense be the way it is, and really there's no solution right now because of all the injuries you have on this team. Overall, you look at what the Red Sox have done over the course of May as we wrap it up here, and it's hard not to be frustrated with what this team is right now, and I think the biggest reason for that is because you look at it and it's the same movie we've seen 2 years in a row now. A team that has talent, a team that has a young core, a team that has put together really good stretches where they look like they could be a good competitive team, but just simply can't do it on a consistent level enough to break past that 500 barrier. It's the same song and dance, like I said, with the offense that we've seen for the last 2 years. This is basically the exact same movie over and over again, and of course that's going to be unbelievably frustrating. It also makes them, honestly, a little bit boring to watch because you know how this movie is going to end. You know what this team is going to look like at the end of the year because of how they're playing right now, and it is unbelievably frustrating. Looking at the pitching staff, because this is the title of this video, yeah, I'm concerned with it. Not because of the talent that's in it. I think the talent that's in it has the ability, we saw it in April, to be an above average pitching staff, but because of the inexperience that's going to probably prevent them from being that solid pitching staff we saw in April throughout the entirety of the 2024 season. There's a very real possibility here that this is just who the Red Sox are. This is the team that we are going to watch over the course of the next, 100 or so games, that we're going to see them go from high to high, from low to low, and end up averaging out right around 500 like we've seen the last couple of years. To me, right now, I am unbelievably frustrated with the Boston Red Sox. I'm frustrated they didn't do more this offseason. I'm frustrated with all the injuries. I'm just flat frustrated with the performance of the players on the field. It's nothing but frustrating. And so, yeah, I think there's a problem with the pitching staff, and I think there's a problem with the Red Sox as a whole, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what'd you think of this series? Do you think the Red Sox have a pitching problem? Do you think it's something else? What are your thoughts on the Red Sox losing 2 out of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Sox content almost every single day. Also, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. If you enjoy the content, it helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.